Hello, it's time for another episode of Discipleship Today. My name is Bob Benson. I pastor Christ Lutheran Church. We've been talking about modern day discipleship, what it looks like, what it isn't. And I want to ask a question outright to begin with, and I want you to think about the question. Who is called to be a disciple? And if you take this back to the original Great Commission in Matthew 28, 19 and 20, all believers are called to be disciples, but at the same time, we're all called to be making disciples. This means that anyone who has made the decision to follow Jesus Christ is called to live a life that reflects Jesus' teaching and his example. He was the best example of discipleship makers, making disciples who would go out and make disciples. Being a modern day disciple is not a new concept, okay? Its original blueprint of discipleship was modeled by Jesus himself. Now, we don't live in the same society. We don't live in the same way that he did. As modern day disciples, we're called to follow Jesus, fish for men, and then disciple those men that we've caught. It requires sacrifice, and it's a rewarding journey as we embark on that journey. But it all is surrounded by surrendering our lives to Jesus. How we surrender control of our lives to Jesus. We get into his word, we share the gospel, and we invest in others. And it's not anything that's going to happen instantaneously. Discipleship is a long slog. It's investing in people no matter where they are and how they grow. And sometimes you see people stagnated and not growing, but then sometimes you get to see the huge growth moments in their life. We are called to make that slog, to continually pour in even when they're not growing. And that's hard. So it's more about surrendering than it is about taking charge. We have to pray regularly. We have to be open to learning and growing in our own lives to see learning and growing in others' lives. So we can become modern day disciples that Jesus called us to be if we pour in and we surrender. How many of you feel in control all the time? I know that I don't. And sometimes it's just surrendering and letting Jesus run our lives. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't try, but it does mean at some point that he has to take control in us and through us. We want to be strong leaders. We crave strong leadership in every area of our lives. But do we want to step into that leadership role? Do we want to surrender what we really want to do and take on that role as a strong leader? I'm going to encourage you to do that. There are some of the best examples in life is when you see somebody grow by leaps and bounds. It's so rewarding. And I would encourage you that if you pour into discipleship, you will see more of it than you've ever seen before. So surrender, but be a good, strong leader. So for Discipleship Today, thank you for taking the time to watch.